Hello, welcome to Back 10 for the penultimate time in 2025. I'm Matt Shaw and we will be going through with a quick catch up on all things Rugby League and Super League right here, right now as we enter the festive period. I am afraid to say that, again, no budget for guests this week, so we've relied on Josh McAllister. Josh, wonderful to see you.
Thanks for having me back. Christmas has come early for me and for the viewers, I think.
I just want to make it clear, A to you, B to the guest, this isn't permanent, hopefully, that you are here all the time.
We'll see.
It's not what we want. It's really not what we want. I don't want your ego inflating, thinking that this is like by popular demand. So anyway, look, let's get into it because there is plenty to talk about. Before we do, just a quick reminder, like, subscribe, hit that notification button so that you see all of our content for the rest of the year and heading into 2026. Right, let's just rattle through some transfer tidbits that are going on at the minute. Where should we start? How about Leigh? Because there's quite a bit going on at Leigh at the minute. You've got Robbie Mulhern linked with a move to the NRL. Personally, I can see it. I do know a couple of years ago he spoke to Gold Coast. Didn't come off at the time, but it wouldn't surprise me if he's still looking at that. He's a good player. He can still go and do it. South Sydney, there's a few talks of movement within their pack. If I'm honest, the surprise to me would be if South Sydney are the only club in for Robbie Mulhern from the NRL.
It's now or never for him, really, isn't it? So
Sure.
we talked in the last episode about Leigh's lengthy off-contract list. There's a lot of star players there, and Robbie Mulhern is among those. And word is that Casper Tigers are after him. Adrian Lamb, when I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago, said he was calm and relaxed about contract situations as a part of the sport. But yeah, that NRL interest is, I think he's 30, 31 years old. He's off contract at the end of 2026. It's now or never for him, isn't it? And he's probably been in the best form of his career while he's been at Leigh. So
for sure.
Obviously he's earned that for that. If he goes to the NRL, he's earned that attraction from the NRL. So yeah, that'd be an interesting one. And there's others off contract. I think you've got a little bit on Owen Trout. I think I mentioned last week Keenan Brown's off contract, or the other week he's not off contract, but there is a likes of Myler Hanley that's off contract, Trout that's off contract, Bailey Hodgson's off contract. There's some big names there that will attract some interest.
There has been a little bit, and look, it's very early. It's very, very early, and all sorts can go on, but there has been a little bit of chatter that Leeds might be interested in a Myler Hanley. Makes sense with Harry Newman going, but I think from what I'm hearing, the safer money is on Hanley staying at Leigh.
Well, he probably has that deep connection with Adrian Lamb because there's that story that he was ready to pack in the Rugby League and go on building site, and then Adrian Lamb gave him a call because he liked him at Wigan and said come play for Leigh. So he probably has that connection with Adrian Lamb. So if he was to re-sign at Leigh, we'll probably be down to Adrian Lamb there, the head coach.
And then Owen Trout, I do think has signed a new deal at Leigh. But I don't know the specifics. I don't know everything, but I do think there's NRL clauses in there. So if he ever wanted to pursue that, I think he could do. But I think he has signed a new deal at Leigh, which will be music to the... Because, I mean, he was going to be wanted... Forget the NRL. Everyone in Super League was going to want him.
Of course, yeah.
I can't imagine there would be a club in the land who doesn't want a player as good as Owen Trout at the age he's at. The nationality is, doesn't even count on a quota, which has... The value of that's been diluted a little bit with the 10 quarters, but nevertheless, I can't imagine there's anyone who wasn't looking at Owen Trout on that off-contract list going... Yeah, he'll do for us.
Yeah,
so
and a player that can play in the front row and in the back row as well. So he's got that bit of utility about him. And another one that's hit his best form since moving to the Leigh Sports Village. So you can see why he would attract their interest. So huge news there for the Leopards fans.
The club that's been the busiest in the off-season since the season's finished, has been St Helens. Well, along with maybe Bradford, and Bradford being very busy, haven't they? But Saints have done some big name signings, and the most recent one is Nene McDonald, which we broke at All Out Rugby League. Paul Rowley reuniting with someone familiar. He's got quite a few of his former Salford players there now. He's got Shane Wright, Josh Orrocks, Dion Cross. I think I've missed someone. I think there's another one, to be honest. But he's got a bit of a contingent there, which I'm sure he's happy about. McDonald, thoughts on it? It's I think just because of his history and he moves about so much, the jury's always out a little bit when he moves clubs. But Paul Rowley got the best out of him at Salford. He made a dream team. So you can look at it both ways, I think, this one.
Yeah, and I think we said in the last show as well, I think you said yourself that St Helens could do with another player that could cover a bit of the outside back line, and he can cover the centres, you could put him on the wing. So yeah, I think he's a good signing. You're right with his history. He tends to, or he hasn't in past gone out of contracts early, hasn't he? So there's always a little bit of jury out on that one. But he's a fantastic signing for St Helens and adds a bit of X factor, a bit of power in the centres and out wide for them. So yeah, I think he's a good signing for them and will go well. And Saints now looking stronger, definitely stronger than last year with the signings that they've made.
Yeah, they've got options. You try and pick that 17 and go, difficult. There's some good players being left out of that side now, where last year maybe wasn't always like that.
Yeah, Paul Wellens probably didn't have that did he for himself to pick outside that sort of 17. But this year, I mean, as again, we talked about it in the last show, Jackson Hastings, where does he play? Does he play in the halves? Does he play at 13? How do you fit Tristan Saylor in? How do you fit Jack Wellsby in? Where does Johnny Lomax play? Mm-hmm. So there's loads of questions there, isn't there? And that's a good headache. That's a headache that every head coach wants to have, don't they, going into a season? They want more players. It's the same as Leigh spoke to Adrian Lamb, and he sort of laughed about it when David Armstrong, he's set to be back early March from his long-term injury. Bailey Hodgson's been killing it for Leigh, so he has a big headache there. So it's the kind of headaches that coaches want, don't they? They want 2 players, 3 players fighting for a position because it brings the best out of each other. The
new clubs are still recruiting. Toulouse, Henry O'Kane. I'll be honest, don't know a lot about him. People have spoken highly about him that I've spoken to, but I'm not going to pretend to know a lot about him. Another one that I don't know a great deal about is Xavier Var, who signed for York. He did have interest elsewhere in Super League. Wakefield had shown interest. They just had a few concerns regarding some injury history and so on and so forth. But everyone who, particularly Xavier Var, the people have said he will kill it over here. Everyone I've spoken to, I'm not going to pretend that's a prediction from me on what I've seen. That's just what people are saying to me. That guy's going to be really good. So,
well, it's hard for us, isn't it? Because they haven't really, these sort of players haven't really cracked the NRL, have they?
No.
So unless we're watching Queensland Cup and New South Wales Cup, which isn't broadcast over here often, it's hard to know, isn't it? But it's interesting, and that comes with the expansion of the overseas, the 10 spots. I think Hull FC have filled theirs. I think Bradford are thereabouts. York are thereabouts. Leigh, Castleford, they're about 8 or 9. Yeah. So it's interesting to see how that'll go and how it'll impact the game going forward, having that many overseas players.
Well, I'm going to just touch on this briefly. And my take on it is we'll see more hit or miss signings. I think what we've seen in more recent years, the big name NRL players are few and far between coming over. There's been more Queensland Cup players, been more New South Wales Cup players, or those on the fringes have maybe played a handful of NRL games. And I think it's fair to say some have done really well. Some haven't cracked it. The prime example, we all thought Judah Imbu was going to destroy Super League when he came over with Cass, and he just didn't. Mm-hmm. But there's been others that have come over and done really well. Akaias Fatili is a great example of that. So
if you can find the next, Kai O'Donnell. Leigh are really good at finding hidden gems. If you can find that hidden gem in the player, and then they probably have interest to go back to the NRL like O'Donnell did.
Cooper Jenkins did well at Leeds. There's been a couple, aren't there?
There has been, yeah. So it's just finding them. But you're right, there could be now more misses than hits just because of the expansion.
You're bringing
to the
more
10.
over.
Yeah. They're probably taking more risks because they've not had that intensity of the week to week playing in the Queensland Cup compared to Super League.
Look, let's just slightly move this on and bring it to England. We know that a World Cup's coming up. We still don't know whether Shaun Wane's staying or leaving. I keep being told we'll know by Christmas. Said that on the show last time out. I'm told the same again, so we're getting close to that now. What impact is the influx of overseas talent and 2 additional teams, I suppose, as well in the competition? What impact do you think it's going to have on national team prospects in a World Cup?
Yeah, I mean, we need to look at ourselves, don't we? I had a great chat with a former player that I won't name a couple of weeks ago, and even programs like the England Knights has just disappeared, hasn't it? There just doesn't seem to be a pathway for these England players to learn and go through the ranks and then play senior level, and now youngsters might get less of a chance because we're bringing more overseas players over. I mean, we'll see what happens in 2026, 2027, but we just need more emphasis on the international game, don't we, on this? We need to bring back maybe England Knights, an international, mid-season international match. And if you ask an England player, I know the debate was, playing France is no good because we're beating them 6-0, but if you ask an England player, would you like to play for them? They won't care who they play against. They just want to represent their country, earn that cap.
Don't agree. The players that I know that went and were playing in the France games were saying it were boring.
But do you not think it's beneficial for them to play with each other, whereas no matter who it's against? Because we didn't.
Yes, beneficial, but not that beneficial. What do we achieve by beating France 40-12.
If
or
we think
whatever
like that,
stupid,
the Kangaroos might think, what do we achieve playing England and beating them 3 times? Let's just stay and play New Zealand.
I'm sure they do think that though.
Yeah, because they beat us easily, didn't they? Comfortably in the Ashes. So they'll probably think, well, we'll just play Tonga, Samoa, New Zealand. So I just don't think we can think like that sometimes. And well, you say you've talked to players. I just think there needs to be more emphasis on the programme of the England Knights and that pathways and getting into the England. And yeah, this it remains to be seen how this overseas quota spots will impact that. And it's a big year next year, obviously. And as you mentioned, Shaun Wane, I'm very much of you've got to keep Shaun Wane because there's no mid-season test. They're not going to get any training schedule in, are they, on the field? So you're asking a new head coach to come in, learn these players, find a system, find ways, and then beat the world best.
Let me ask you this. Shaun Wane or not Shaun Wane, do we just need to accept next year's World Cup's a write-off for England? Given the circumstances of, as you've just mentioned, no camps, no mid-season tests, no nothing, essentially. Do we just need to accept England have no chance of winning a World Cup next year, irrespective of who the coach is?
That's a horrible way to think, isn't it? But it's the reality, isn't it? The reality is the semi-finals should be deemed a success. Making the finals, we've overachieved maybe because that way you've had to beat
Some would
New
argue
Zealand,
making
Australia.
the semis would be an overachievement.
Yeah, could
Some
be.
would.
With the rise of the likes of the Tongas and the Samoas, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because you don't already want to write us off a year out, but it is hard. It's hard to see where England go from what we've just witnessed in the Ashes to how they improve without any program, any training, any match to go straight into it. So So what are you thinking? Quarterfinals, semi-finals is a success or
it's group stages, isn't it? You go
there's no quarterfinals, straight to semi, of course. Yeah, with the 10
by the way,
10 teams.
who designed this World Cup format? On another note,
the best thing for me about the World Cup is watching nations like Jamaica and Greece. Now, I know they've had to change it because the change of schedule and all that, but that was the beauty of the World Cup for me, was watching these nations that you don't tend to watch all the time, and the players that come out with the heritage or players that are from that country representing their nation. I think that's the beauty of the World Cup, and we're just not going to get that next year.
But do you know what my bugbear, this is a very selfish one. I've never done, one of the final things on my bucket list from a media perspective is to cover a World Cup overseas in Australia. I've never been to Australia. I've always wanted to do it. This would have seemingly been the year for me. I think all media companies will be the same from England. It's very hard to justify being there because England are in Perth. There are no other games in Perth. So there are 2 weeks where they're in Perth and the only teams playing are England and their opponents and England women. You can't go to any other games. It makes it very hard to justify as a media company going because it's not cheap. And also, even if you do, I'd rather be at games all the time.
Yeah.
And you're just not going to have that luxury unless you travel 4 hours to Sydney or 7 hours up towards Queensland. I'm really annoyed about it.
Another beauty of the World Cup was that, in the last World Cup here in England, there was a game on Thursday that you could go to, there's a game Friday you could go to, Saturday, Sunday. They were all close, weren't they? You could go to them. And now, you've got to put into context, Australia's a massive country and they're trying to grow the game, and obviously with the Perth Bears, that's where they're going there. But yeah, I can see your point. And then you've got to justify going when we've literally essentially just written them off. Then you've got to say, well, we want to go cover England, but we don't think we stand a chance.
I don't think England's whitewash defeat has done anyone any
No, it hasn't. It hasn't. It's not given anyone optimism, has it?
No.
And it doesn't. No. Next year, as you say, because there's just nothing there for them to sort of improve. It's just hard to see where we go from there.
Yeah, I agree. Look, let's move on because we spoke about England loads and loads and loads over the last month or so, couple of months. Bring it back to Super League. We kind of did a little bit of this last time out, but I'm going to revisit it because I just want to see where your opinions are. League Leaders Shield. Who are you going for now?
Yeah, prepared this week, so I've had a little bit more think. I was put on the spot in the last show.
You were?
I was. Now, you made a good point that Hull KR have one of the hardest starts maybe ever in Super League between World Cup Challenge, Las Vegas, 2 trips to France.
Yeah.
And obviously they opened the campaign at York. So that, and it's backing up on the historic treble winning year, that's a big ask, isn't it?
Yeah.
They'll be there or thereabouts. Can't write them off. And they've got depth. I think they've recruited well. It'd be interesting to see how the new coaches go. They've had a big change up, haven't they? Luke Gale's in and Ian Watson's in now. So it'd be interesting to see how that new dynamic works at Hull KR. For me, I just don't see Wigan going another year without winning anything. And I loved your shout in the last show of Leigh Leopards. I saw a few comments saying that they were loving the Leigh loving. So I think Wigan and Leigh for top 2. I'm going to go Wigan 1, Leigh 2nd, and then Hull KR 3rd, just because of that start, and then try and maybe play catch up.
Okay, right. You've brought me to a topic I was going to bring in later on. Ollie Wilson out for the season. They've already lost Byrne, Hill, Dupree. Are you not worried for Wigan in that pack unit, given that?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, that's a huge blow that you broke, didn't you? So yeah, that pack, you're looking at it. But they've got a couple of youngsters coming through, the Taylor Kerr, and a couple of youngsters coming through that might get the chance and kill it. So yeah, there could be a little bit of worry there. But also, have they got salary cap salary cap room?
They have the dispensation, so they can go and... It's technically not dispensation, is it? If you don't play, they don't go on the cap.
Yeah,
so they know he's not going to play. So
Leeds had with Max Evo. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, do you know anything there? Do you think that Wigan will look for another forward? Do you think they'll? I think
they will, but there's no one there to sign right now, so they're going to have to wait for someone to fall out of a system or a club to feel the salary cap pinch and be ready to move. I don't think anything will come up immediately.
Yeah.
So.
And obviously Sam Essay spent the year out on loan at Hull FC last year, and I was really impressed with him. So I think if he gets his shot, and I think it'll be his first team debut at Wigan finally this year, I think he'll go well. This might be an opportunity for him to, get that spot in the 17 and push with Wilson being out injured. So yeah, I still think Wigan still have the depth in that academy. I mean, the world famous academy coming through. There's always the next one off the line, isn't there? And there's a bunch of talented forwards there. So yeah, I have confidence in Wigan. I had confidence in Wigan all throughout last year, but they just never seemed to hit that first gear, did they? But I just can't see them going through another year like that, I don't think. But then again, I wouldn't be surprised if Hull KR go first. I'm not sitting on the fence, but
I've revisited my thoughts on Hull KR, and I don't think they'll win the league leaders. I think they will have a dip because of the schedule. I think it will catch up with them maybe in the middle of the season. I think that'll mean they don't win the league leaders, but I could see them peaking for the grand final. I mean, what you got to give Willie Peters tremendous credit for last season. Everyone said they were done, they were finished, and he was adamant they weren't, and he was absolutely bang on. So he knows how to get them ticking when it matters.
Yeah, you're right. So throughout the season, it was they're peaking early. They're peaking early. This can't last. And it did, and they won the grand final. So Willie Peters, yeah. But again, I'm just interested to see how the new coaching dynamic works there.
Mm-hmm. Who's your bolter? And when I say bolter, who's going to shoot up the table unexpectedly? I mean, Wakefield were probably the one last year, finishing in the 6.
Yeah.
Obviously, Leigh a couple of years before that. I suppose Hull KR finishing second surprised quite a few when they did. There's always one. Who's it going to be this year?
I'm going to go with Hull FC.
That's funny, because that's who I think too.
If they can, I mean, they've had a nightmare injury run, haven't they, in recent seasons? But if they can keep their squad fit, I think they've got a tremendous pack.
Yeah.
And they've got the talent in the outside backs. Aidan Caesar proved, I think, everyone wrong last year with the way he killed it and ran the show there. So I think Hull FC will make the playoffs this year, top 6. Obviously, just missed out last year. There for the top 6 next year for Hull FC.
I've got a sneaky feeling they finish top 4. That's bold. I know it's bold because I'm putting them right here, right now, and listen.
It's December, so
things can change. At the minute, I don't know why, and I can't really give you a proper justification. I can give you some context. I haven't finishing above Leeds and Saints.
Right.
Don't know why. I just really found I like the look of what they've done.
And you were Leeds' biggest fan.
I was
last year. But
I was. Well, do you know what it is with Leeds this year? It's just I've seen this happen at clubs before, where there's too many players off contract and people get unsettled, and there's still quite a few off contract at Leeds. And the coach off contract again. That's just playing on my mind a little bit. Where Leigh are getting a lot of their stuff done early. I know that Leeds have done the Jake Connor deal now, which is welcome news for them. But yeah, they just got a nagging that might disrupt things a little bit.
I think St Helens have quite a lot off contract as well. A lot of the big names. I don't know the likes of Alex Wormsley's,
Johnny Lomax.
I
think it's a bit different for them though, because they're coming to the end of the career, maybe, and it's probably a different sort of narrative. Where you look at the Leeds ones, you've got Palacia, Jared O'Connor, Ryan Hall is obviously in that category. But yeah, there's just a few in there as well. Just don't know what it is. Don't know. I've still got Leeds finishing in the 6.
So if let's say Hull FC make that 4, who drops out of the 6?
Wakefield.
Which was, I'm sure you called for them to make top 6 last year.
I did.
Yeah.
I just think...
And I think their squad, it's hard because I think the squad is better this year than last year. I mean, Smoothie.
The team that I'm not convinced on that everyone else is convinced on is Saints. Just the dynamics, the massive change in dynamics behind the scenes that I think. I'm not saying it won't work, but I don't think it's a guarantee work. But they have put together a stronger squad than. If you'd have asked me 6 weeks ago, I said Saints won't make the 6. Now I'm going, they've signed some good players. They might be all right.
There's one club I have absolutely no clue how they'll do, and that's Casper Tigers, because they've got a new head coach. They've got plenty of new players in that have either NRL experience or never quite cracked it, so they'll want to seize that opportunity. I have no idea how they're going to do next year. And the other one is, I think Huddersfield will struggle. Right.
Castleford were my second bolter. I think they can go and have a Hull FC type. I don't think they'll make the 6, but I think they can flirt with it, be in that mix have a crack at it.
And they probably consider that a success. If you are there fighting for the top 6 after the seasons that they've had in the first season under their new head coach with the new players gelling, I think you consider that a success, when you like we did for the Black and Whites.
Yeah, for sure. Huddersfield, I have to agree. Catalans, I don't have a clue. Do not have a clue on Catalan. They could be anything. I'm
scared to predict anything on Catalans this year after last year. Yeah. But Toby Sexton, I mean, he's going to be, or at least should be, one of the best players to watch in Super League this year, given his talent and having that first team opportunity. But I have no idea again on Catalans. And I think Huddersfield struggle. I just don't think they've added that much quality or depth to their squad. And the curse continues with the injury that you broke last week.
Huddersfield.
At Huddersfield, yeah.
Yeah, well, they've had a few, haven't they?
But was it Oliver Russell that?
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. If people haven't seen this, so he's not even participated in the session. He's not involved. He's just gone to have a watch, and they're doing like a technique drill, and one of the players has been flung around like on the mats. Ollie Russell's looking the other way, being chopped in the back by the guy flung around. He's done his MCL. And that could only happen at Huddersfield.
The Huddersfield injury curse is a real thing.
You can't blame that on. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
They always have stuff like this at Huddersfield.
You trained with Huddersfield a few years ago. You were probably lucky not to come out with an injury after that. Or did you?
They were lucky not to get injured by me. That's what you were looking for. They got lucky. And I was the best swimmer there. So, and they'll vouch me on that. I was very good at swimming.
Was that a part of it? Was that a part of your full day?
That was a recovery.
Was it?
Yeah. You had to do full. It was like a proper swimming pool, and you had to go underwater and do full length. I like, no problem.
Was this after your sprints and running?
Oh yeah, yeah. But I had my Kellogg's certificates from back in the day. Like, I would don't mess around with me in the swimming pool.
And then a couple of seasons ago was in the cage with Wigan Warriors, weren't you? Lucky to get a first team contract somewhere.
Well, Liam Byrne ended up getting moved on to Warrington, didn't he, off the back of me stepping him in that cage. So we don't need to go over what happened after that. Anyway, right, just lastly, from top to bottom, we've worked his way down. Wooden spoon, we spoke about a bit last time. Some people will say, what you said on Huddersfield, could they be that low? Personally, I don't think so. What about you? Huddersfield that low, or is it hard to look past the promoted sides?
I know I'm contradicting myself here, because just a couple of weeks ago I said the 3 new teams will probably finish the bottom 3. I look at York's squad and I think they could give Huddersfield a challenge to push for the third of the bottom spot. I mean, neither of them make that the playoffs. Bradford, for me, I think finished bottom.
I'm in agreement.
I'm in two minds between them and Toulouse, but I'd be interested to see how Toulouse go. They've kept a lot of core of the squad. They've played together a long time. They've just added a little bit of quality here and there. They've got, the games, it's travelling to France. Although Super League teams are used to travelling to France now, obviously with Catalans and Toulouse being in Super League before. But I just think Bradford are asking a lot in the first season. Obviously, Kurt Haggerty's first season as a head coach. Yeah. They've got a lot of new players in, albeit they played together at Salford under Kurt Haggerty as an assistant. I just think there's a lot of changes there. So I think they might finish bottom next season.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I think to lose the home advantage, you just pick up a few wins. York could just think of a better squad. So yeah, I would agree, but we will see. And no doubt the Bradford fans will all be in the comments now hammering the pair of us. That's fine. We get used to that.
It's only December. Anything, lots can change.
Things can change. There's still time to recruit.
Yeah.
Who knows? Anyway, that wraps up the show. Thank you for joining me, Josh, and for your pearls of wisdom. in and amongst some drivel. But yeah,
Hopefully, I'll be back.
good to have you back.
Yes,
Big thank you to all of you who have joined us. Don't forget, like, subscribe, hit the notification button. Big year coming up in 2026. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you real soon. Take care.